Hello, this is Basic Music Theory, Part 3B, White Key Intervals, or Generic Intervals, Descending, Ignoring Accidentals. This lesson is an extension of Part 3A, White Key, or Generic Intervals, Ascending. It contains some essential prerequisite knowledge, so if you've not completed that video and lesson, go back and do that first. Once again, we will deal with generic white key intervals. We're concerning ourselves only with the distance from one letter name to the next. While this information only gives us a broad, general sense of what the interval might sound like, having and being able to manipulate this information, combined with an understanding of enharmonics, will eventually help us better understand how music is constructed. Again, since we're dealing with pitches and not rhythm, we're reserving this discussion for the difference in note names. For instance, from A up to D is an interval of a fourth. From G down to B is an interval of a sixth. Let's do a quick review. Here's our keyboard. Find the pairs of black keys, go down and to the left, and that is the note C. We then fill in the scale alphabetically. Remember, to determine the generic white key interval between two notes, count the note on which you start as one and continue counting to the other. Let's try G up to E. G1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and E makes 6. The generic interval from G up to E is a sixth. Now let's head the other direction. Same rules. Count the notes on which you both start and end, but this time you'll work backwards through the alphabet. Let's try G down to C. G1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The generic interval from G down to C is a fourth. Let's now try D down to F. D1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The generic interval from D down to F is a sixth. So here's a new idea. It is possible to address generic intervals on notes that have accidentals. Just ignore the accidental and count the intervals, the letter names, as you've learned to do. You only ignore accidentals when being asked for generic intervals, though. Here we go. What is the generic interval from B flat down to F sharp? There are our notes. Let's get rid of those accidentals. Here we go. B1, A2, G3, and F4. The generic interval from B flat down to F sharp is a fourth. So in review, on white key intervals, ignore accidentals, count the note on which you start as one, and going alphabetically forward, going up, or backwards, going down, count each letter you pass through to get to the other note name. Count the note on which you end, and finally, do not resist counting on your fingers. This has been Basic Music Theory, Part 3B, White Key Intervals, or Generic Intervals, Descending, Ignoring Accidentals.